I need to mute the mic.
Yes.
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 Yes, sir.
Let's get chat. Poopy says yes. Okay, no one else has said yes yet. Kay Green says we have pretty voices.
Absolutely, guys. Reporting here live from the draft floor. Spiciest take so far. There's been some Matt Howard news, but we'll leave that for later in the broadcast. Back to you in the booth.
I think so. Hey, so everyone, go ahead, get your booze in now. There we go. Very good. Very good. Yes, keep it coming. Good, good. All right. Did we? Yeah. So did we settle on the committee or the auto draft? I the I think the easiest thing is going to be we're going to let the AI do BPA based on the overalls that were put out at the beginning, and then A ties will be sorted by potential and then football IQ. So that's how they're going to draft. Um, yeah, right, because they didn't participate in any free agency, so the chances that they have players at multiple positions, I think, is zero. I'm pretty sure they weren't. No, none of the AI teams like Cincinnati or New York have multiple good players at a position where that would make sense. So, um, yeah, right. Which means we are ready to go. So, without further ado, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock, and these next two picks are probably going to roll off pretty quickly. So, I'm going to pause it after each one to announce it. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. So, first off the board, offensive tackle Elijah Rader from Illinois. And then the New York Jets are now on the clock. Let's see what they do here. The Jets select Danny Kipnis, fullback. I forget where he's from. Miami.
Oh man, this is the pick that I'm interested in, though, man. Number 3.
All right. So number 3, the Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock.
Matt Howard.
So want to make a quick announcement.
Matt Howard. Matt Howard. Matt Howard. This is only.
There it is.
Oh my god. Gee. Okay.
Lions.
That's a mistake.
Not a mistake.
Very
Best quarterback
good.
in the draft.
I honestly, I think it's either him or Link, and so I think that's a good pick.
I was
I
one
think
of the ones
he'll
first
succeed.
vote. I was the one that liked him better than Link and Howard. I think Lions is the best QB, and I know I'm outvoted on that, but
That's
When-
not a bad take though. Like I can
Yeah.
see the argument for that.
When I was still sitting at 18, I was hoping for the Ohio guy, who I'm not going to try and pronounce his name yet. But once I kind of started seeing a lot of talk about him in all the draft stuff, and I realized I was not going to get him at 18, so I decided to move up and then really look deep at Lions and really fell in love with him. So my offense this year is set up to be a pass-heavy system, and he's absolutely going to be the leader there.
So the Chicago Bears have taken Jehu Ginn. I don't know how to pronounce that. With the 4th overall
Great
pick, the
pick.
Denver Broncos are on the clock. Now, I don't
Great
know
pick.
if oh, there we go. Dakota Link's gone. Denver Broncos have selected Dakota
Wow.
Link, Oregon
Wow,
State.
there you go. There's 2 gone. I said 3 would go in the first 10.
LA Rams are on the
2
clock.
gone.
We got
There you go.
slime.
And the reason why I didn't like Link is just, to me, he feels like a bit of a workout warrior type guy, whereas I felt a little bit more comfortable with the Lions' actual production on the field, combined with his combine and pro day metrics.
Yeah, he ticks every box, whereas Link is a bit of a projection.
Well, and my issue with Link is that C plus progression is he's good now. How much better is he going to get?
Right.
And when does he get leapfrogged by the others, by Howard and by Lions?
Well, I don't know that he's going to get leapfrogged by Howard. I think Howard has an even worse potential.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's right. I think
Yeah, but Howard is. Come on. Let's not disrespect it like that.
Despite what someone in this chat might say, I'm pretty sure Matt Howard is pretty overhyped. I don't really think he's going to be anything at the next level. He had a good run in college, but I don't think he's going to grow enough to pick him in the top 10.
His accuracy grades, the combine and pro day, are really concerning.
Yeah.
That's fine. He's going to 13.
I mean,
Coming
he
in
can chuck
from
the ball on the field.
Coming in from the back too, it sounds like a lot of general managers didn't like the fact that Matt Howard basically caused a bidding war for his sponsorship services between White Claw and Truly. Just screams financials instead of playing ball, and I think that's what's turning off some of the organizations against what should be a centerpiece guy. Oh, trays are not working on the interface.
Yeah, we'll make this work. Hang on a second. Interesting.
Working on an issue, looks like, with getting this pick in.
More
Yeah.
on Howard. For me, of the top 4 guys are kind of distincting themselves away from the rest of the quarterback class. To me, he's clearly the worst of the 4. Yeah.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree. Well, he also, all of his stats are volume stats. He only got to where he's at because of how many times that Florida State threw the ball. And he had a lot of help around him. His receiving core was probably one of the best in the country. So I'm not sure that he's the reason why Florida State went to the national championship game. And not only that, with this coming out with his financial stuff, how much of that got into his head, and that's why they lost to Tulsa.
While we're here, the 4th overall pick, Jehu Ginn, I think consensus widely decided he was the best defensive player in the class. Talking with his dad earlier today, he's excited to be moving over to Chicago, being the face of the franchise. I think the fans here are very excited.
I think him at number 4 is a bit of a value pick for Chicago. So I think when you get someone top 5 and you think that's a good value pick, that's usually a good sign for that franchise.
Particularly if you look at the depth across the linebacker, but especially in the interior. I mean, it was Ginn, it was everybody else by a mile. So if you have a need there and he's there, yeah, I mean that's an obvious pick. That's a solid one.
Okay, so everyone, chill. This is not me causing problems. I'm not stealing anything here. So it should be me now. Now I'll be able to make the pick for. Let's see here. He wants this guy. So let's go ahead. This is kind of clunky, but. Okay. And now I can give this back to the Rams. All right. So with the 6th overall pick, the Los Angeles Rams have selected running back Bruce Dawson out of Tulsa.
Very exciting, the national champion and basically focal point of the Tulsa offense.
The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock, and we're going to pick it back up.
Don't know how I feel about taking a running back this high in the draft, but I mean, he is a very, very good player. So, I mean, if you're going for top players available,
the up there. Minnesota Vikings select Alex Williams III, was Wisconsin, I believe, right?
Yes.
There you are. And so now the Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
That was a very quick pick by the Vikings.
They had him queued up and ready to go.
But to me, he was clearly the best receiver in this class, too. So if he's your guy, then there's no point in wasting time, right?
Yeah.
Skill position. Coming to you live from the phones, I'm hearing the Ravens are moving out of pick 9. Stay tuned. A lot of excitement going on in the trade portal.
It's oh, okay. So the Cleveland Browns select cornerback Colton Hayes out of Clemson, it looks like. So now the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock, and seems
shit.
like.
What the fuck?
What?
That is not who I meant to pick. I totally fucked up. Oh well, life moves on. Jesus Christ.
What happened?
Goddamn job to do.
What happened?
Right.
Did you run out of time?
Again. What the fuck, man?
I mean, he doesn't look like an overall terrible player.
It's at best the 3rd cornerback at number 8. I'm a complete fuck up. God damn it. God damn it. Oh, man. Man, me and drafts, man. I can't get this right.
So everything's okay. We're gonna move on now.
Oh, what can you do? What can you do but laugh?
All right.
Do you want to tell us who we're gonna pick?
Yeah. So, all right. The Ravens are on the clock. If just FYI, Ravens, and if you're talking with anybody else, I will need you guys both will need to ping me to tell me the basic stuff that needs to move right now. If there's like players and stuff attached, post that to the trade thing later. But yeah.
So I managed to talk to Elijah Rader during that brief intermission. Very excited to be the first overall pick. The pancake machine himself headed to the Bengals. Looks to be every bit of a long-time Pro Bowl left tackle.
He's definitely what you want in an offensive lineman, especially early on. Like this is a dude that's going to stay with this team as long as, things don't blow up for him. This is a dude that's going to stay with his team for the rest of his career, probably.
Well, if someone wants Usai, they're going to have to move up now to get him, probably.
Probably. And he's the next guy, I think. And then like Howard is the consolation prize. All right. If I'm a QB needy team, I'm hoping he falls quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like we've been pretty hard on Howard for the finances for everything, but if he's coming, wow, surprise pick. I'll let someone else talk about this one.
Wow. Matt Perez, free safety out of Akron. Interesting. Very interesting. Detroit Lions are on the clock.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it looks like that fell through.
Hmm.
The sort function is not available for players that like it only has so many because of things like it's a fantasy thing, so it's not expecting to have all of the positions to worry about. So yeah.
So Perez had a pretty good zone coverage grade, and honestly, for his own guy, had a pretty decent man coverage grade as well. So seems like a guy can be a little flexible back there for the Ravens.
Oh man.
Is Jacobs here?
All I'm saying is your target is still there, and we've not got many picks until 13. So right now, it's looking good.
I don't know. He is logged like he logged in before, but I don't know that he is here. I mean the BPA is offensive guard Angel Lowe from Temple, uh, who, fun fact, was the first player generated uh, by the Sim. His
Number
player
one.
ID is number 1. So yeah, so with under 2 minutes here, I've pinged Jacobs just to be sure, but I don't. It says he's away.
Yeah.
He might be away. Honestly, though, I mean, if somebody takes a look, I don't know what Detroit's offensive line looks like. Angel Lowe's a stud. Like, that's a good pick.
Agreed. I have Angel Lowe ranked as the third best offensive lineman in this class. He's going
Really?
to be a monster everywhere.
Who's the number 2? Because I bet Raiders number 1. Do you have Humphreys number 2?
Surprisingly, I have Quincy Weil number 2. I really like the makeup of this big Southern boy.
Really? Interesting.
You know, in my own analysis, it looks like the Lions do need a second offensive guard starter. Bumpus.
Michael Bumpus. What a great name. Oh, he got one in here at the last second. Mike Presley. That's kind of a Mike Presley out of what's that? Maryland. That's a surprise, I think. I figured offensive line would be awesome for them, but now this dude falls into Angel Lowe falls into the Eagles' lap here. The Eagles' brain trust. Let's see what they decide to do.
So here's the thing that makes Presley great if you're looking for one specific thing is his zone coverage grade from the combine 9.48. That is insane.
It is, but his overall is very low. Like, I mean, I guess if you're running zone all the time, that's great, but like I'm gonna be honest, I don't have him ranked in the first round.
No, I
don't.
mean it's a surprise for me because that's a very you want someone who can do everything, not someone who can do one thing incredibly well, probably in the first round. So it is a surprise for me. But he does one thing real well, and that's play zone.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the Lions, though, they've got 2 cornerbacks who are rated pretty highly, and one of them's pretty, up there in age. But there's, I think, other areas they could have targeted with this pick. Probably would have been bigger impact.
Yeah. So I am interested to see what the Eagles brain trust picks here because they've got what 3 dudes in their front office or two or 3.
Basically cheating.
Which must be nice. Yeah, I mean, I've had to do everything for the Cowboys, and it's like I got to do all this and run the draft.
So for you guys on the broadcast, is Lowe your best overall player remaining?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's I mean, other than like fullback. Yes.
And both of those cases, you've got a great player at a position which is not traditionally the biggest difference maker.
Yeah.
Lowe, I think at this point, what pick are we on?
Pick 11.
I mean, okay, at this point, Lowe is enough of a monster that I feel like he's legit falling. I'm surprised he's out of the top 10, even for a guard. I mean, he's all his numbers are phenomenal.
I agree, man. He's a bit on the small side in terms of his size, like in terms of weight. He's very tall. He's quite tall for a guard. But like the dude is a monster. Absolute monster. And his pass block drill almost a 9. Like that's really good. that would be a great pick. There it is. So that went very quickly. Hang on a second here. So the Eagles select Mark Soto, outside linebacker for UNLV, and then the Cardinals, who I guess are auto drafting, have selected Angel O, offensive guard, Temple. Kind of surprising, I guess. I mean, unless the Eagles really are looking for pass rush, it sounds like. So now the Miami Dolphins are now on the clock. And I'm getting some rumblings that this might be our first in-draft trade, potentially. But a lot of things have to happen.
Yeah, we might be moving. So stand by.
Yeah. So while we stand by on that, I will say this about Soto. I mean, we've got some good edge rushers on the defensive line in this draft, but I will say Soto was kind of it for me when it came to linebackers. If you're running a 3-4 or just going to do any kind of outside pass rush, this is another case for me where it's Soto and then it's everyone else a mile later. So I'm surprised that Lowe fell where he did, but if you want that edge rusher, Soto was your guy, I think.
4-4-40 is pretty good.
Fellas, taking my GM hat off, going back to trade rumors, I got spicy news on what happened with the Ravens pick at 9. The Ravens are very happy with Matt Perez's selection, but what took so long was a protracted bidding war between the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants for the number 9 overall pick. Both backed out at the last second, and the Ravens ended up with probably the best safety in the class.
Trade time, baby. Let's go. Trade's confirmed.
All right, fellas.
Washington went up for it.
From the trading block, we've got our first in-draft trade, the Washington Commanders to the Miami Dolphins. It's a first-round swap, multiple second-rounders and third-rounders being moved, and a third round next year. So big move up by the Commanders. Very exciting to see where this ends up.
They've already traded up once, right? I think with Carolina, who moved back down to 18. So being very aggressive.
The thing is, for us, the reason why we moved is because I've got 4 or 5 targets, and all of them are still on the board. So by us moving to 18, like, one of them is still going to be there anyway. So it's an easy move for us. Literally, like, none of
Washington was one of those teams with multiple first-round picks, so they had the ammunition to pull this off.
Yeah, like, literally none of my targets have been taken yet. So literally none of them. So
is Washington going for wide receiver here? I mean, they seem to be in a really good situation right now in terms of team needs.
If I could get someone from the chat, or I'm sorry, the draft stream here to confirm what I've got here in the chat as having gone through, I'm gonna go ahead and refresh. Let me make sure that is correct before we move on.
so we should be moving from 13 to 18.
Yep.
And we should be gaining both of their seconds. And then they're going to get our third round pick. And then we're giving them a second for next year.
Yep. All right. So everything for this year looks good. So instead of the Miami Dolphins, is now the Washington Commanders on the clock. So how do we feel about this trade? I mean, it seems like Washington was one of those teams that was going really hard. Well, hang on. The got a bunch of things moving here. So Stephen Humphries, Washington Commanders take Stephen Humphries, probably one of the best remaining offensive tackles. Houston Texans then took Ryan Johnson, the meme guy himself, nearly won the Heisman Trophy, carrying Texas State last year. Which now means the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, and I'm going to go ahead and put my pick in.
So the thing with Ryan Johnson is if you compare him to all the running backs in terms of his combine scores, he's still graded out very, very well against most of the running backs as well. So to me, I know it's an auto pick, but him going in the first round is not a super big deal to me.
So with the 15th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Amar Rodriguez, corner out of Fresno State, I believe. The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock. I'm super happy with this dude. He's probably my second rated player on the board.
I wanted him. That was my pick.
I'm sorry, man.
That was my pick. I'm being sorry, that was my pick. That was my pick.
As someone who looked at a lot of corners, for all the good it did me, Rodriguez is a great pick. I mean, that he's already good and that A+ potential. I mean, he's got probably, I think, the highest ceiling of the cornerbacks in that draft. With a man coverage rating already over 8, that's a good pick, especially where you got him.
I was thinking about maybe moving back, but I decided not to do that because I'm like, I've got too many things to juggle. I'm not going to be able to make that happen. But if I would have done it, Miami totally would have picked him up. But yeah, I'm really happy with that pick. I think I got I've got a dude in free agency. And I ended up having to pay him a lot, but now my secondary went from garbage to not garbage pretty quickly, thankfully.
It's a great pick. It's a great pick. Mate, I'll be honest. I was going to pick him. If he was there at 18, he was gone.
I'm surprised he fell. Gone. I'm not kidding when I say he's.
I was going to take him at 13. I was going to take him at 13, but then we thought we'd trade back. I thought he'd still be there. But listen, there's a lot of good corners on the board. So
I'm not going to lie. He was the second best dude on my board after Raider.
Wow, that's huge value there.
Yeah, I was when I saw him there. Still, I'm like, I'm not even gonna mess around. I'm just gonna pick it real quick. That wasn't even a question for me. So now the Falcons. I wonder if if taking Rodriguez kind of messed them up if they were looking at him as well.
Well, while they deliberate, I got some numbers for you on that trade using my value chart. Looks pretty close. Washington's picks I have valued at 502. Miami's at a maximum of 466. So not surprising. Team moving up pays a little bit of a premium to move up 5 spots. So that all seems above board. Washington, again, selling out for this year, giving up 3 high picks to move up 5 spots. I have that right? They gave up 18, in the 2 seconds. So selling out for this year.
Something to think about too, when it comes to things like the pick is in. The Atlanta Falcons select Ulrich Phillips, offensive tackle from TCU. The New England Patriots are on the clock. One of the things I want to mention about the NFC East stuff is I think someone did the math in the NFC East and said that it's the best quarterback division in the league. Well, you got a very quick pick here. The New England Patriots select Bruce Puello, free safety out of Notre Dame.
Oh, 2 free safeties in the first round, huh?
Ooh, that's big. That's interesting. Anyway, Pierce, if you wanted to continue, sorry.
Oh, nope, that was it. Just
And I'm just gonna say, me and Badger are debating right now. He's with me, like we live together. He's my head coach. We are now going back to the drawing board. So this is going to be a last second pick.
So
While we have some time, managed to get a hold of the Commanders' LeVar Ball. Organization is super excited about Humphreys. He's one of their main targets going into the draft. Like we said, they are really putting a lot of ammunition down for this first season. Got to be excited with probably the second best offensive tackle in this class.
So everyone ignore what the Colts did to get to number 3, please.
Why is that?
Because the guy I was targeting to get at 18 is still available.
Oof. Well, I mean,
And I assumed
Yeah.
he'd be gone by now, so I made a big splash move to get up and get a guy. I mean, I ended up liking Lions better than Usai, but that was my initial plan.
I mean, Lions is a good pick. I would not be like that's a good
I
pick.
think that's great. Yeah.
He's I think you can't go wrong with the top 3. They might have different trajectories, but I think they all end up being good, maybe not good right away. And again, someone in this chat's not going to like this, but I'm pretty sure Matt Howard is not going to get much better. I don't think he's going to do that well. I mean, do you think the Dolphins are deliberating about whether or not to take Howard? Do you think
He's Rex Grossman.
Yeah, Kirby's going in there banging the table saying we need to take Howard?
So, is anyone else surprised that we haven't seen a defensive end come off the board?
I think if there weren't so many auto picks, we might have seen one, but in general, yes.
I'm shocked.
Agreed on our end. Eagles are shocked that like they're the only ones that have picked an edge player. 17 picks in. We're already in the back half of the draft. I guess pass rushing is just down on the priority list.
And it might be that, the sack numbers look low based on the system, and so maybe people are mistaking that for ineffectiveness.
I will say this: there will be adjustments to that.
Yeah.
We've got pick in. You had to pick when I had something in my mouth. Won't elaborate any further. So the Miami Dolphins select cornerback Ramon Newton out of Arkansas. Or Arkansas. Is it just Arkansas or Arkansas State? It won't tell me. But now the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, which I believe I think I need to make this pick for them.
I was deluded into thinking that Newton was the last pick.
I'm gonna talk you through this pick. So obviously, I'm not gonna lie. We were sitting here. We wanted Rodriguez. I'm not gonna lie. However, I think that Newton is the most polished of every cornerback in the draft. I think that's obvious. He had the best pro day. He had the best rankings coming out. His potential might not be as high, but I think that his floor is probably the highest as well. So it was a pretty easy pick for us. We was going to look at a different position because we've got 3 second-round picks now. But as Badgers has said, we need a corner. So Ramon Newton, welcome to the Miami Dolphins, baby.
So the pick is in. Jacksonville Jaguars select offensive guard Quincy Weil. The Washington Commanders are back on the clock. So they're their second first-round pick.
Wow.
I was holding out so much hope and deluded myself to thinking that Ramon Newton would last the second round because that was who I really liked as well at cornerback.
That's who I liked at cornerback too, and then I blanked out when it was time to make my pick. So
the Commanders have selected Ray Thompson,
That's good.
wide receiver out of Tennessee. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock.
Washington's going to be pretty good this year, huh?
Unfortunately, yes. Oh, you gotta hang on a second. I don't know that. I think it's hang on. Give me a minute. We might have had a technical issue here.
Ray Thompson, probably the fastest and most shifty wide receiver in this class, going to the Commanders, just makes this NFC East division way more deadly than it probably needs to be. I hate you guys.
So I'm undoing that last pick because he hasn't logged in yet. He gave me a pick to make. But the Pittsburgh Steelers select tight end Devontae McKinney. Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock, and I am going to make that for him.
First tight end off the board, Devontae McKinney. Big-bodied guy.
To me, he was like one of the best tight ends in the class. I mean, Louis Van Slyke out of Oregon State is also a really good guy, like receiving, but McKinney's not a bad pick at all.
Okay. Just a moment here. I've got to do some maneuvering.
Yeah, McKinney, every bit of 6'3", 239, A-plus potential.
Okay, so
Well, that's going on. 1,800 yards, 1,849 for Ray Thompson at Tennessee last year on 89 catches, an average yards of 20.8, 19 touchdowns. Absolutely outstanding stat line.
the Los Angeles Chargers select Nathan Burke, inside linebacker, and the New York Giants will be on the clock as soon as I give LA their pick back.
Yeah, with the Commanders selecting Ray Thompson, they get a real field-stretching weapon. Probably the best deep ball threat in this class. So I would say the Commanders have had a very strong first round.
I love Ray Ray. I've said it in the mock draft. Great player. I think he's going to be good.
All right, picking it back up, New York Giants are on the clock. I think the Burke pick there is interesting. We haven't seen a lot of inside linebackers. We've got Jehu Ginn, who is far and away the best dude, but Nathan Burke, I don't think is in the same league as him. He's definitely good, but he's not on the same tier. Pick is in. The New York Giants select strong safety Matt Bass. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock, and the Buffalo got this pick through Tennessee, so they also still have their own pick at 29. Yeah, way to go. I think what's happening is the AI picking has helped, and a lot of people haven't really been messing around with trades, which I imagine that's because this is our first year at this. Not a lot of teams know what's going to happen, and so like they don't know that they should. Like we've certainly seen some teams moving a lot, and some of that has to do with, I think, trying to go all in for 1 year, and then also on the other side of that, teams trying to get out of the first round or out of certain rounds that they know they probably won't be there to actually make a selection. Yeah. So, but this is interesting. I wonder who Buffalo is going to pick. Oh, well, I don't have to wonder any longer because the pick is in. The Buffalo Bills have selected offensive tackle Marquez Allen, and the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, and I believe they have to send me their pick. So I'm going to pause this for it and. I think so, yeah. He's in the International Space Station.
All right, well, we got some time trying to wrap up some rumors. Kansas City Chiefs are desperately trying to trade out of the first round. Let's see what action day has. There's a lot of good talent still on the board. So if anyone's trying to get back in the first round, I believe the Chiefs are probably the best at here with a 28th overall pick.
Jacksonville, you said? No, that was not. They made that pick.
Agreed. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are probably the team to beat in the AFC. Uh, the rich getting richer, another big body on the line, but they may have been able to shore up some of their depth by trading down. It may have just been unfortunate trying to get a partner to make that deal work.
I mean, I did have him as needing a second offensive guard as a potential need. So from a needs perspective, it's not a terrible pick.
Speaking of in other news, New York Giants pretty upset with the selection of Nathan Burke right before them. He was one of the main targets for that NFC East organization. They settled down with Matt Bass, he projects to be a very strong box safety. So look to see how he fits into the Giants defense.
I'm just working through some technical stuff to get this pick in. Seattle has made their pick. I just have to get it made.
In other news, do we think the Vikings may have the best receiving core in the league? Matthew Madden, 86, Paul Grule, 83, Tracy Borders, 79, and now they add Alex Williams III to that room.
You got to think that they're going to be looking to trade
That's
one of those
scary.
guys, right?
Either trade or release the nuclear arsenal on these other NFC North teams. I'm going to look at those secondaries, my word.
The pick is in. The Seattle Seahawks select Christian Carter, inside linebacker from Kentucky. And the San Francisco 49ers will be on the clock as soon as I give Seattle their pick back.
There's a rumor out there about who the 49ers may be looking at.
Who's that?
One Mr. Matt Howard.
Oh, that would be an interesting pick.
I would say I'd love to pick Matt Howard at the back end of the first. That's great value there, in my opinion. I'm just looking into my stat book trying to mark off the players that have been picked. Christian Carter is a C plus overall. I believe that's our first C taken in this class.
I'm not gonna lie. The more I look at it, the more that I think that we just drafted the best corner in the draft at 18.
So the San Francisco 49ers select Carlos Ramos, and the Green Bay Packers have selected Junior Ogba. So the Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock.
Still haven't found a trade partner.
I'm not gonna lie, I was considering trading, and then Ramos went, and I wasn't interested anymore. I was hoping to get Ramos. I think he's a guy that really could blow the top off of a defense, and I need help with receiver anyway. So that was looking good, but I think San Francisco made a great pick there.
Yeah,
Now we have
yeah.
more wide receivers taken than quarterbacks, which I did not see going. Two quarterbacks and 2 free safeties.
And
I would say this Ogba pick is terrible. I mean, this guy wasn't even at the combine. I'm stunned by it. And then secondly, I'm shocked that no defensive linemen have gone yet.
yeah, I'm looking. I'm not a draft day trader. That's too much for me to handle. But I mean, Merriman, Easton, Dyson, and Lucas.
But
And
plenty
the
of
first three
teams,
are edge rushers too, just sitting there. I can't believe it.
plenty of teams putting a lot of energy into the opposite side of the trench and going offensive line. 6 guys on the offensive line taken so far.
Stacey Moten is another name I wondered if we might hear called already that has not been called yet. The third best runner possibly in this draft. Good in his own right, but not Dawson and not Johnson.
That's the guy out of Illinois, correct?
Yeah.
I remember liking him a lot.
340.
And the Chiefs burning down the wax here. They're under 2 minutes. Wonder what action's taking place here. Again, if you are having trouble negotiating out the trade, it's best to just pick the player the other team wants, finalize the trade later, just so we don't get into any weird trades aren't working on the interface issues.
The Kansas City Chiefs are trading the pick. The trade has gone through, and I just need to put the terms here. Give me a moment. Just a moment, sorry.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm just going to reiterate what I just said in the chat. That like, I can't believe that Matt Howard has fallen this far, and whoever gets him is going to be laughing to the bank.
I think the fact that Asensio isn't gone is crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
That guy took Ohio of all teams to the playoffs.
But also, the MAC really wasn't that good last year.
You would know.
Yeah, as the MAC West Division champion, yes, I would.
With a losing record. The MAC was crazy, man.
And I mean, here's the thing: we came in pretty close to beating Ohio in that championship game. I mean, level of competition has to be a factor somewhat when you're looking at stats. And when I did my analysis, his statistical performance for the year was the best among all the quarterbacks based on how I looked at it. But at the same time, it's playing mostly against the MAC. How much can you really trust those numbers?
So the trade is between Dallas and Kansas City. Dallas traded up to 28. Kansas City gets Dallas's second this year, sixth round pick this year, and their third next year. And the pick will be in momentarily. So the Dallas Cowboys select defensive end Michael Dyson out of Northern Illinois.
Oh,
The Buffalo Bills are on the
Rocket, we
clock.
evaluate players the team, Rocket. We evaluate players the same, bro. I love
You
that
wanted?
guy. I love
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah, but I'm a long way from picking, man. But I love that guy, man. He's so fast.
That was huge. I
He
needed
was
help
top
off
of
the
my
edge.
board.
Hey,
Yeah, he's top of my board.
we spoke his name into existence. The Buffalo Bills have selected Usai Asensio, quarterback of Ohio. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
What an absolute steal for Buffalo.
Incredible.
Wow, just a great pick. Happy for you, Cy. Happy for Buffalo.
I absolutely fell in love with Usai during the draft process. But I felt that Rashawn Lyons was a better player once I was at number 3. But yeah,
Be right
love
back.
that pick.
Hopefully things don't blow up.
So just curious, Rocket, why Dyson over some of the other edge guys?
I've got a proprietary formula. No, it's just I looked at their overall and their potential, and he had the best combination of those of the pass rushers left. So this is a pick that's kind of for the future. Well, hang on. We've got 2 picks here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have selected cornerback Lewis Wong out of New Mexico, and the Raiders selected wide receiver Andrew Richards. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock.
Richards, I don't know what to think about him.
Good question.
He had no stats last year whatsoever. 0.
He is entirely a projection. He's He's someone that I think is uh hang on, I got a ping here. Hopefully, is this a trade? The New Orleans Saints have selected Stacy Moten, running back, and are still on the clock. Also, yeah, pass rushers left takes first D in the class. I mean, there. I think I know a lot of people had Merriman from Ohio State high on their boards. So I don't like. I think some people will disagree with you, Ace. And yeah, Richards, he was a great like combination of overall and potential. I don't know, I don't know what star he was, but he's got A potential. So if that plays out, the Raiders long term could really be getting a great guy. I mean, it's a very Raiders pick right there. I'm not surprised at all, frankly.
All right, from the rumor mill, Baltimore is calling the phones, trying to get to the early part of the second round. I believe Syndicate, K Green, and the boys are calling out. Secondly, man, some of the viral tweets on Twitter right now about the Matt Howard fall. Quote, Matt Howard is the head of a terrorist organization. Quote, Matt Howard eats his milk without cereal.
So the Saints have picked defensive tackle Dwayne DePaula, and the Las Vegas Raiders, hold on to your hats, everyone, has selected quarterback David Paul. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock, and Matt Howard is still on the board. Amazing. David Paul is totally a meme pick, which again, that's the Raiders right there.
I mean, the Raiders have a pretty decent quarterback who's not super old already.
That's, I mean, just win, baby.
Not even,
I don't know.
Not even 30 years old.
I think it's interesting. What type of quarterback do the Raiders have?
He's
What's
a
his
pocket guy.
archetype? Yeah, so Paul is a field general. So I think what could be happening here is also I don't think the Raiders picked up anyone in free agency. I think they're tanking, and they picked a guy with probably some of the best potential left at quarterback.
Well, they also picked teammates, Andrew Richards and David Paul, both from Oklahoma.
Right. Which is interesting because Oklahoma also was not very good. Well, at least, but I think that was more due to the fact that they were an AI team and rather than their talent. Their talent, I think, was pretty good. They just didn't apply it properly because there was no one there to babysit them, you know. But Matt Howard not gone yet. That's crazy. I
I
didn't.
mean, seeing some tweet says comparing Matt Howard to Geno Smith.
Ooh, ouch. I don't think he's that bad. That's the thing. I don't think he's that bad. I just didn't think he was the best out of this group. I thought he was probably, you know, the fourth best quarterback, but I didn't think we would only have three quarterbacks taken in the first round and then have David Paul picked over him. That's crazy.
Guys, I want to double back up to the Andrew Richards pick. This is the first one out here where we did not have any TV staff in his living room. This absolute shocker. Due to a lot of off-field incidences, Andrew Richards only participated in 16 snaps last fall. Didn't catch a single pass. He measures very well. Raiders taking a big risk here.
I mean, it's the most Raiders pick of all time. That's what this is. Like Al Davis is smiling from heaven right now.
Seeing a rumor that the Buffalo Bills would have picked David Paul at 29 if Asensio was not available.
Wow. specifically at the expense of Howard. Yeah, apparently Buffalo had the card written up ready to go, just in case Asensio wasn't there. Yeah, I think there are certainly a few teams playing wait and see. Not sure how things are going to play, and that's frankly that's a good strategy. I have no idea how things are going to work. What strategies work and what will work and which won't. I have no idea. Oh, by the way, after this, I will pause and adjust the timer because I realized we wrapped around into the second round, and I did not update the timer. So teams, you will now only have 3 minutes to make picks. I have to change the timer. Starting right now. You'll have 3 minutes. Let me good. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Will Carter, wide receiver. The Tennessee Titans are now on the clock and have 3 minutes to make their pick, as will everyone else the rest of the day. And just like that, the Tennessee Titans have selected defensive end Tommy Merriman of Ohio State, and the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock, which is interesting. So
Once
now,
again, trying to trade down.
really, you know what? Didn't they like splurge big time in free agency? They were handing out massive contracts, if I remember correctly.
The Will Carter pick is a little, I don't know. It seems like there's better players available for what that kind of player does.
Yeah, I thought there were at least a handful of wide receivers that you could pick that were probably a little better than that, at least long term. Um, but I mean, maybe they've scouted them and they know what they want.
Yeah, I know we're in the second round, so every player kind of has their flaws. Will Carter's big one that stood out to me was his route running ability. He's a very handsy guy, 6'1", but can jump, can catch. Just needs to polish up his route running.
What a steal of a pick for the Titans as well. I mean, getting the guy that I think that was initially projected as a top 5 pick in the second round, I think is a good value pick there.
So we have a trade going through. We'll have the details up shortly. So Kansas City bailing out of all these picks like crazy.
Interesting, because they have the Cowboys pick at, was it the 18th pick in the round? So they have 2 late seconds is what they're going for then.
I'm hearing word trades between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Info to follow.
Baltimore took free safety Matt Perez in the first round and needed some help at running back, offensive line, and quite a few places there in the defense. So this could be quite a bit of different options for the Ravens here.
Do we think this could be a potential Ryan Wilson selection? The gadget running back out of Colorado State, 5'8", 185, runs like the wind.
I mean, if you're going to pick Ryan Wilson, wouldn't you just pick Cooper McGow?
Sorry about this. Having some issues. Like it's me. So boo. Everyone can boo.
Boo.
Boo. On another note, it looks like the Commanders still aren't done. A lot of action coming from this NFC East team, trying to get back in to day one, giving up some assets for next year potentially. Denver has put out some media excited about Dakota Link coming to the organization. Just need to pair him up with a Zelda. Any Zeldas in this draft class? There is a strong safety, Tanzel Harvey, potential option UTSA guy. Denver, you know what to do.
All right. So the trade from Kansas City to Baltimore is Baltimore gets Kansas City's first second round pick because they got a third. They got another one from the Cowboys. Then they will also get Kansas City's fourth round pick, And then Kansas City will get Baltimore's second-round pick, their third-round pick, their fifth-round pick, and a future fourth. So after this, the Baltimore Ravens will be on the clock. And just a reminder to everybody, when you do trades and stuff, make sure you have the pick number correct, because this is a snake draft. So in in odd numbered rounds, it goes one way, and then in even numbered rounds, it goes the other way. So just be ready for that. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens select running back James Taylor. And then the Green Bay Packers select Steve Lucas. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock.
Agreed. Out of the true running backs, I had Bruce, Taylor, and a whole lot of distance before you got to guys like Moton. Now adding Ryan Johnson to the mix, Danny Kipnis, that's probably the top four guys in this class. Getting him at the fifth pick of round two is an absolute steal.
I love that Lucas pick. I love it. I think it's a great pick. I think that he might be designated as a run stopper, but if you actually look into it, I think that Lucas is a really, really good player. To be honest, that's a great pick.
I think this just shows that the having a coach at the college level is huge, because we had teams that were projected to be pretty good, and they just crashed and burned. Yeah.
Meanwhile, 49ers have less than 30 seconds to make their pick.
We got Baltimore's GM in here to talk about the trade they just made with Kansas City. So
How
yeah,
y'all doing? How y'all doing?
good. But real quick, it looks like the 49ers are going to auto draft. It looks like Ray Easton's going to be their pick. Oh no. Russell Latimer. Wow. Another guy picked over Matt Howard out of Iowa. Crazy. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. So Baltimore, Mr. Syndicate, what were your thoughts on this trade? You gave up a little bit, but I assume you really wanted Taylor.
Yeah, man. First round, Perez, that was pretty much our target. We honestly did not expect Moton to fall past top 7. We didn't even expect him to get that far. So we were stuck. That's why we took so long to select that pick. But my scout K Green, helped us stay composed. He recommended a course of action, take Perez. We felt he was the best safety available, helped our backfield. And then, we traded a bit. I'd say we traded a bit, but this was a player that was really high for us. And we felt that James Taylor, he's one of the best pure running backs in this draft. Yeah. Yeah, we can expect him to, come out the backfield, sometimes line up in the slot, and we're gonna be looking at him to get him the ball because after all, we're just trying to look to get more weapons for our top 5 QB, David Chop. We feel like he's gonna be a threat in a passing and running game. We want him to be a dual threat.
So the pick is in. The Seattle Seahawks have selected quarterback Luke Trahan. Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Another quarterback goes. Matt Howard still on the board. The Tennessee Titans have selected cornerback Kendall Schaefer. The New York Giants are on the clock. I doubt they're going to pick a quarterback. Yeah. Offensive tackle Bruce Allen. And God. I hate this interface. I don't think this guy was supposed to be the pick. Because again, oh wait, is Pumph here?
He was in the chat.
Whoops, I may have made a whoopsie.
Don't know if he wanted to make that.
Is here, yeah.
Yeah, my fault.
So which picks are legit? Is it the Titans and Giants picks legit, and then the
Yes,
Chargers?
yeah, I think the Chargers are. Yeah, it looks like that was not it. Was it?
So 6 quarterbacks taken, and none of them are Matt Howard.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I'm stunned.
Really surprised how many quarterbacks have been taken in the second round. I didn't see that coming.
For on my end, big scramble QB aficionado, Luke Trahan was the only one worth a lick in this class. I love his legs, and more importantly, I love his arm talent.
I will say, as the Ravens executive, I was that guy that called Matt Howard overrated, but this is a crime against humanity. He has some character issues, but his talent is first round. I believe he should have been picked in the first round. I don't even know who these guys are. They do not have half the arm that Matt Howard has.
I think it's nuts that he's still here. I thought he would have gone late first round.
I don't know. I mean, potential is such a hard thing to gauge. I know our scouts try to do a great job at it. At the same time, Matt Howard's a guy that catapulted his team to a college football championship game. I almost think it may be some kind of draft fatigue. Highly hyped player for so many months. You start picking his game apart, and all of a sudden, this is the swing in the other direction.
I feel like during the season, there's a lot of Matt Howard first overall type of talk. So for him to not be picked in the first round at all, I think is very surprising.
Okay. Yeah. So I got it all sorted out. And Pumph, let me know if you can access your team now. But the Los Angeles Chargers select offensive guard Diego Johnson, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
Seems like the Steelers are a little bit upset with that pick, and maybe they were looking to take him as well.
I may have just cut out for a second. Is the Ray Easton pick legit and the Diego Johnson picks legit? Or am I just a little bit backwards?
Easton. He's still on the board. Diego Johnson is not. Diego Johnson was just taken. All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers have selected our first center off the board, I believe. Dustin Woodson Luster. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm just going to explain this pick. So I actually think that this guy that we picked, I've had him really high on my board for a long time. I'm surprised he's still here. This guy is the best pass rushing defensive end in the draft, and I'm extremely excited for him to join the Miami Dolphins. So welcome, Andres Harrison.
Did you call him James Harrison? No, Andres Harrison. Yeah, so the Miami Dolphins select Andres Harrison, defensive end. Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. And I believe they are here, so they will be able to make the pick for us.
Can you double check the drafty site? Ray Easton looks to be unselectable on my end.
Refresh your browser.
One player I will say that I'm surprised that is still here. Philip Calhoun. I really felt like he was a top 3 defensive end in this class. So I'm very surprised to see the fact that Andres Harrison was selected before him. Philip Calhoun can do everything. I believe he could pass rush, he could stop the run. So I'm really surprised to see him, especially with A- potential.
Yeah.
So
what happened, by the way, with the Chargers pick is I did not like Pumph was here in time and then needed to be assigned to his team, but we never paused before they came up. So I had to pause to give him his team, and I couldn't do it before the auto pick took that other guy. So because he did everything he needed to do, I fucked up. So I let him to make the correct pick.
Oh, there goes Mr. Matt Howard.
Hey, there he is. Jacksonville. Does Jacksonville have a quarterback?
Shit.
Might be a stash guy.
Well, there he goes. It's a lot later than I thought.
He's staying home. Great job, Jags.
Matt Howard stays in Florida. Just not with the Florida team we all thought he'd be on.
Listen, I think they just got a great quarterback. I can only say that.
Colts have selected corner Elijah Ellis. The New England Patriots are on the clock.
Anyone who looks at my team knows I need secondary help as much as possible. So I was always going to go cornerback here in the second round. Ellis is a good combination of overall potential, combine performance, statistics performance. So I think for second round cornerback, he's a kind of well-rounded player.
Has Trey McMillan been taken? I don't think he has.
Tears of relief in the back room. You know, Matt Howard just looking grateful, hugging his mom, hugging his sister, happy for this young individual walking across the stage, getting his hat from Commissioner Rocket Cam. Jacksonville, you got a good one.
Does anyone have Jacksonville's roster up? See who else they have in the quarterback room?
Yes, they have a quarterback. Their quarterback is 75 overall. His name is where is it at? Yeah.
So we think this is a let Howard sit for a couple of years.
Probably just the 1 year. I mean, the guy's 10 years in, has a 1-year contract. So my guess
Yeah.
is they're going to let him play out the year and then just see what Howard has after that.
That's honestly not a bad plan.
That's a sound strategy. You let Matt Howard learn the playbook, learn behind a vet, and hopefully he booms for the Jaguars and ends up being a cornerstone of their franchise.
I mean, they did some work in free agency, so he will have help.
Oh man, and Twitter trolls are already memeing Matt Howard hugging his family. The man just can't catch a break. Hopefully, this year on the bench helps him stay out of the public eye, helps him work out his off-field incidences, and we may be watching a very strong quarterback in the near future.
The New England Patriots select Darren Edwards, defensive tackle. The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. I am seeing here somebody tweeted they don't call him Matt fucking Howard for nothing.
Jacksonville may not be a bad place for Howard, just for a few reasons that I think that were just mentioned. Is Jacksonville's not exactly the biggest, market in the NFL, so lets him hopefully stay out of spotlight. And again, having a vet team and an overall pretty good team around him that year should help him develop, hopefully, out of spotlight and under the radar.
Will he survive out of the radar? Interesting.
I mean, he is still pretty close to that Florida State campus, so it's not that far of a drive, I don't think. So
Yeah.
that might be an issue. One of those other backup quarterbacks might have just earned a new job of just keeping an eye on Matt Howard.
Atlanta Falcons are on the clock, taking some time. A lot of ways they can go. They went offensive tackle in the first round. Real curious where they land up in the second round pick.
Wow. Falcons select quarterback Chris Frazier. Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. See if Kansas City that was who they wanted. Kansas City apparently really wanted Chris Frazier, and they're not getting him now. So interesting. Do the Chiefs try to trade again? I don't know. What do you do here? Oh, yeah. Did Baltimore win this trade now? I don't know. We'll have to see. But right now it doesn't look good. You're gonna have to scramble.
I mean, I genuinely thought that Chris Frazier was worth a first round pick. They wanted to stay home and take him. So I guess they wanted to avoid the 5th-year option, but still, I felt that he was a late riser. He had a trinity of football IQ, throw power, and throwing accuracy, A's. So I really thought that he would have snuck into the first round, but I guess not.
Yeah. I mean, quarterback's been an interesting position this year to see, like, not just Matt Howard, but then some of the other guys that are higher than I probably would have picked them, but other teams obviously really like them, and how far some other guys fell, like Asensio falling almost out of the first round, kind of blew me away. I thought he was going to get picked earlier than that, and I guess some teams are maybe they're waiting because this year the draft is all seniors with no redshirt years or anything like that. So they're coming out this year probably not quite as NFL ready as usual as they probably will be in a few years. So that combined with their progression throughout college, to get to this point without playing any actual football was only like a redshirt progression. They didn't get any real snaps, so that didn't help them. So in the next, I would say probably 3 to 4 years, maybe 2 to 3 years, we might begin to see some prospects that are coming out that are better than these prospects are, which will be interesting. A little bit more plug and play than this year, although there certainly are some plug and play guys here.
So you're saying it was foolish to trade 2 future first round picks?
No, I don't necessarily. I don't think so. I'm saying that the Kansas City Chiefs have selected corner Trey McMillan, and then the Houston Texans select defensive end Ray Easton. He finally comes off the board, and then the Miami Dolphins are now on the clock. No, I don't think so. I think you can still get that progression out. It's going to take a while for teams to get to that point. I mean, I think you traded your next 2 first rounders. You probably won't see that big of a difference until after that anyway. So you're probably fine. And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the best class that we'll ever have. I honestly have no idea. These are all just guesses. There's no precedent set by anything yet, and that's part of what makes this exciting. Is we can all experiment and try different things and see what works, what works in this league and what doesn't.
2 quick back-to-back picks. Happy for Kansas City landing Trey McMillan. I think he's a very good player in the secondary. Ray Easton's a player I was a little bit lower on, but I think this is appropriate for a middle of the second round. It's been a quick run of defensive linemen over the last bit after a very weak first round for that position.
Is this Miami's 3rd pick now?
Yeah, they've taken Ramon Newton and Andres Harrison.
Focus on
Both
defense.
defenses. Yeah. We've definitely seen some teams pick one side of the ball to focus on over the other. Clem, I think you've picked offense, and I've seen a lot of other teams do the same. Picking offense or defense. I think Kansas City, with that pick with McMillan is really solidifying their defense. I think in free agency, they tried to buy the best defensive line in football, which is very possible. Again, remains to be seen, but you can definitely see a lot of these teams starting to really pick, where they want to focus on initially as they build these teams up, and then where will they go after that, after a season in the books? How does that look? By the way, while we're kind of got a little bit of downtime, I want to put out there that I have very recently finished, done it for, hang on. 2 picks here in quick succession. The Miami Dolphins selected wide receiver Tyson Buss, and the Arizona Cardinals select fullback Damian Sheed. So the Philadelphia Eagles are now on the clock. The college engine has almost been completely updated. I have just the other night I put in overtime for college, and I've done a couple tests with that, and that looks like it's coming out okay. The next step is I'm going to run another season with all the same numbers for translating your all these numbers that you see for all these skills into actually mattering in the sim. What does that mean in the sim? I'm going to run a whole season of that. We're going to take a look at the picks in here. Philadelphia Eagles select Ryan Renninger, strong safety. That's an awesome pick. I couldn't believe he was still on the board. He was one of my best players rated, and he's still on the board. If he would have fallen to me in the 3rd, he would have been off the board so fast. That's a great pick.
Yeah, extremely happy with the selection. We were stunned too that he was where he was. I had him rated as the best strong safety in the class over Matt Bass, playing a very similar role. Really excited to have Double R on the team.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rocket. I was contemplating trading back into the third. Very versatile safety. He can play in the box, rush the passer, cover, most importantly. I think he's a great player, could end up being a top 5 player in this class.
Yeah, very crazy. Try to tie up what I was saying before. Basically, the next step is to simulate a season using the old numbers, generate some statistics because we have things like overtime now, home field advantage, and all that stuff. See what that looks like, and then adjust the skills based on that to try to get to more realistic numbers. Like I don't think we had any double-digit sack dudes this year, so that obviously that we need to tweak that. All that stuff we need to change. There were some games that were like teams had negative rushing yards, which every once in a while, fine, but it wasn't. It was on a too regular basis. So a lot of things are gonna have to change from that. Once those numbers are done, we can start running spring games, which is gonna kind of be like the beta test for this new iteration of the engine. NFL wise, I still need to do the overtime, and then I would need to create the numbers to transition from what we have in the NFL to the actual simulation, and that's going to be something that once that's done, then we can do preseason games. So I imagine the next things that you're going to hear are going to be spring games for college, then preseason games for the NFL, and then we're going to get the season going for both college and the NFL.
Very exciting.
I'm excited too, man. And we're also hopefully some
Sorry,
under the hood.
sorry to interrupt you, but the Lions are having technical issues with their
Okay.
pick.
Let me see here. Is this in the NFL chat?
Yes.
Okay.
He's having issues showing players not showing for him.
That's fine. Jacobs, go ahead and PM me what you want, and I can make this pick for you. Okay. So the Detroit Lions select Philip Calhoun, defensive end. The Kansas City Chiefs will be on the clock as soon as we get moving again.
So there goes your Calhoun pick.
Yeah.
That's a home run, I think, man. It's a great pick. Had him as a top 3 edge rusher in this class. I was surprised he even fell this far. I genuinely felt like he could have been one of the first defensive ends off the board. Detroit is looking scary. They are going to make sure that they may not be able to score 7, but it'll be hell if you try to score 6.
I mean, I think that's one of those teams we were talking about that had focus on one side of the ball or the other. I think Detroit's defense is going to be really good this year.
Agreed. You got that crazy Minnesota Vikings passing attack versus this very staunch Lions defense. I'm very excited. That'll be a matchup I'll have circled on my calendar.
It's interesting to see what Detroit will do with Calhoun, though, because they have a defensive end already in that spot with Nicholas Sarno. So it's interesting to see if they're going to move around Brullier, if they're going to play Sarno in the 3 tech. It's interesting to see what they could do with that line, and they have a lot of versatility there.
I have a tweet here. It says KC looking to trade down. They've been allergic to making picks, and now they're getting to the point where they have so many picks they're going to have to make something. It's just interesting. Wonder what they're deliberating about.
Yeah, I've definitely been interested to see how many teams are looking to trade down compared to the teams trading up. Amassing draft capital seems to be the go-to strat for a lot of people.
I mean, the Panthers have traded out the first round twice, right? Or traded in the first round and then out completely second time. So I think their plan is to load up on draft picks in the future and just kind of write off the season before it really begins.
A pick is in.
The Kansas City Chiefs select offensive guard Jonas Skipper. The Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
I think it's criminal that no Utah players have been selected. One of the elite institutions in the Conference of Champions.
How many? I don't know. Who do I even have as the highest Utah player?
It doesn't matter.
Let me see here. Highest Utah player I have is Blake Johnson, quarterback, who's a C+ overall, and I have him rated. Let me see here. What round is he in?
The first.
The 5th. He's in the 5th round. So
No need to listen to the slander. Utah players in the day one.
Utah get wrecked.
See, funny tweet is asking, what is GM Pierce going to do this time?
Yeah, please make sure you make the correct pick. I would hate for you to not have the correct pick. About New Mexico players, we did have Louis Wong go first round. Darth Jar Jar was constantly playing him up as the best corner in the draft. While I disagree, he's still a first round corner. So that's interesting. Interesting stuff.
I mean, he's cool or whatever. I really had a fifth round grade on him.
Pierce, did you mean to make this pick? Sorry to interrupt. Is this the guy you wanted? Yeah, all right. The Cleveland Browns select wide receiver Marcus Ekstrom. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock.
Yeah. See, the problem was I had too much focus the first time, but now when I'm balancing dinner and an angry toddler, I nailed it. So I didn't have enough distractions the first time. That was the problem. I was over focused and hit the wrong button. So I figured it out now. I got a system.
There you go. You're in your element now.
Guys, would you believe it? Florida State's quarterback coach put out a tweet about Matt Howard, or I guess reporters got a hold of the Florida State quarterback coach. Quote, he's kind of a mess. This offense is a true college offense. He pushes the ball, plays reckless. I don't know if he'll hold up the way he did playing in college. A lot of character concerns. Not sure he's the face of a program. Sorts of issues aren't the kinds getting solved by giving kids millions of dollars. My word, the news just keeps coming out about Matt Howard.
Oh my God.
That's really, I mean, kind of shocking to say some really disparaging things about a player from your program. I I mean, what does that look like to guys who want to go to Florida State? I mean, are they
The pick is in.
immediate trashed?
The Seattle Seahawks select free safety Godwin Johnson. Los Angeles Rams are on the clock. A Husky has been drafted.
That is great value. That is great value. I honestly saw him getting drafted in the first round. To get him in the back end of the second, that is great value. I believe, did he have the highest zone coverage grade? The combine, I believe he did. So you're getting an absolutely locked down safety back there. Can turn his hips, can get back there, bat down balls. Most importantly, lock down your defense.
He at least has the highest of all free safeties, that's for sure. And he's got an A- potential, so that's like, I don't know that he's the kind of guy that can come in and make huge plays immediately, but like you can put him back there and just hope he doesn't get one-on-one, but he can grow into his role. He's definitely a guy that's going to project well, I think. Good combination of overall and potential.
Remember, everyone, as we go from round 2 to round 3, please DM me what you are drinking. Show off those GM offices.
I will say once we get to the end of the second, I'm probably gonna see if we can't take a break. We got 2 picks coming in here quick. Is Alex here, by the way? I think he is. Let's make sure he made that pick, because that was kind of quick. Do we know if Alex is here? Okay. The Los Angeles Rams take Clinton Gregerson, defensive tackle, and the Broncos take outside linebacker Patrick Viola. Chicago Bears are on the clock.
Clinton Gregerson, all name nose tackle.
Another fun fact, he is player ID number 4.
Really hoping Patrick Viola fell to me in the 3rd round. Good overall, good potential, good combine grades. So I think overall, he's in this area. He's probably the best coverage linebacker to take.
Very solid. Good, solid pick. The Chicago Bears select running back Ryan Wilson. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock. This is another one of those excellent value things. I'm gonna put this out there. I had Wilson rated in the 1st round. This is incredible value that Chicago's getting.
Yeah, I agree. I believe this is great value. Waiting to in the second, don't have to pay that 5th-year option. You know how durable running backs can be. I genuinely thought though that with Bruce Dawson on the board, you have a full line and you can get the Heisman winner. You can get arguably the best offensive player in this class. So I genuinely thought Bruce Dawson had to be the pick at 4. But again, this is great value. They're still going to get something out of it because, again, they have a full offensive line and they're going to be able to maximize his talent.
Do the Bears have a quarterback?
Let me see. They
Just thinking about their overall team.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Bears,
Interesting.
they do. Yeah.
So what does Ryan Wilson do that Cooper McGough doesn't do? What am I missing here?
I think the thing with McGaw is it's low. I had him lower. I have McGaw rated in the 3rd because of his combination of overall and potential. Like, it's one thing if like some of these dudes towards the top of my board have high overall and like mediocre potential, but because they're high overall, they get a head start kind of thing. Whereas guys that have at least a better potential, maybe not great overall, you hope they can grow into something good. They're a bit more of a projection. if you can find a guy like if you can find a guy like Elijah Rader, that's A in both. That's the unicorn, the holy grail kind of thing. But
I was also looking at a bad thing. I had Ryan Wilson as an overall of D+, but that's not right. So that's my bad.
Okay. The Miami Dolphins select cornerback Jeremy Moreland. The New York Jets select strong safety Jason West. And the Cincinnati Bengals take a fullback in Giovanni Rosenberg. So
That's four fullbacks taken so far.
Yeah, and they're not all the receiving type. Like Giovanni Rosenberg is a blocker type, and I mean he's gonna be good, I think. But I guess what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, look, we're gonna build a line around Elijah Rader and basically a glorified guard in Giovanni Rosenberg and just mash people. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna pause us here. Let's take like a 10-minute break. And go kiss your wives or girlfriends or whatever, your kids, and get something to eat, something to drink, and come back in 10 minutes. So that'll put us at, let's say, 6:10 Eastern time. So that's 5:10 Central, and you guys do the math. You can figure it out. Sound good?
Yeah, that's me logging off now, guys. That's how we're not got a third round pick. I'm going to be signing out now. Just for the FYI, we did want Patrick Viola, great player, but Moreland was Badger, my head coaches. That was he wanted us to take him in the first round. I liked Moreland. He fell to the second, the end of it, so we're happy. We've got 3 corners now in Miami. Yeah, we're happy. So yeah, that's me signing out. Romeo done.
All right, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming.
shout out LeVar Ball for picking the best picks in this entire draft. Couple first rounders. Super psyched with how it's gone. I want to hear some Matt Howard facts. I am very surprised, and I'd like to hear an opposing view about why he's falling so far.
I have a view.
Yeah.
I think it's because his combine absolutely was terrible.
His combine for a pocket guy? What's he screwing up there? I mean, he had a little bit of a lackluster accuracy, but an arm.
Well, I mean, just the fact that he's not accurate as a passer. Beyond that, I agree that God, who was that one person?
Usai?
No. Wow, I missed that pick. Russell Latimer being taken, that was surprising to me.
Yes, there were a couple of these guys that I thought were Russell specifically. I did not think would be going that high.
I had him on my board only because he is the, I guess, best scrambling guy, but I mean, he was also not that good. I thought he was going to drop to like the 4th rounder or something.
Yeah, I thought so too, considering you basically have to tailor your entire team around him, and it's not like he's a surefire star that you can do that with anyways.
Well, that's
Like,
why I
he's
was
not
trying to do with Buffalo, but I mean, I don't have speed back or anything like that, but I just wanted to focus on running the ball, but this draft has kind of changed my view on that.
Yeah, I think the guys who are picking those good fullbacks up are gonna, stumble onto a bit of a winning strategy. I honestly think that they could be merged categories and just have backs, and you wouldn't see that much of a difference for some of them.
Absolutely agree. I mean, Ryan Johnson's probably the second best running back in the class. I think he's even more versatile than Bruce Dawson. Not to mention Danny Kipnis, just a ridiculous combine. Are fullbacks overpowered in the sim? I would say maybe.
I thought that was changing this next year.
I mean, we have so many 40 times from these guys too, though that's pretty. And the 40 basically is just your number value and speed. to my understanding, with the exponential curve or whatever on the top. So when you see the list of all the guys with A speed, it's basically just why even bother look at the letter. Just go to the combine and pro day stats.
There's one thing I wanted to point out is that there has only been 2 outside linebackers taken, and I'm very surprised by that.
All in all, I feel like a lot of people are not really valuing even front 7 positions. You're seeing very little linebackers, outside linebackers, inside linebackers, defensive ends, defensive tackles being taken. It's very shocking. A lot of the emphasis on defense has been at the corner and safety position, and then everyone's just taking offense.
Very, very top heavy. I felt it was a weak class as well.
Gotta wonder if that's the class or the sim, though. I haven't looked too deeply at what's coming out next year, but if only 5 or 6 guys are gonna walk in and be any good in a draft class, what's the league gonna look like 4 years down the line?
All right, I'm back. What's the consensus on the going an extra round today?
Overwhelming people voted in favor of it.
All right, excellent.
I think it was 12-2 was the final. 14-3.
Excellent.
Does someone want to try and wake up Kirby?
I don't think he's going to be around for that.
Did he give you a list?
He didn't. Well, he was hoping to be in bed.
Oh.
Because as he traded away his third. Okay. All right, so let me see here. Just about ready to go.
I'm also curious to hear from you guys. How much are you looking at the auto draft queue when you're sizing up positions? Looking ahead to see who's gonna have a run on them, or having that affect your trade mentality.
I'm very dumb, so I haven't been at all.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I want to say that kind of influenced the trade for James Taylor because we saw him creeping up in auto draft. And I don't know how the auto draft works, but like knowing Green Bay needed a running back, we didn't really want to chance it. So that's why we kind of made that trade. You could argue we kind of gave up a little more value, but we feel like it was a good trade.
On my end, it's made my organization kind of stay put a little bit stronger. I feel like, I don't know, if the auto draft wasn't taking place, maybe some of these positional values wouldn't be taking place. So we found our opportunities. I feel like we've gotten really good value at both of our picks. We'll likely stay put for the most part.
I'd say a position that would really change if, let's say, every owner was present was wide receiver. I don't think we'd see this many wide receiver off the board. There are some good ones, B overall, B minus, things of that nature, but I genuinely believe there would have been less wide receiver takens, and in turn, more quarterbacks taken instead of wide receiver. Maybe you're expecting maybe 5, 6 quarterbacks at max could be in the first round.
Well, one thing I noticed is that during the free agency period, everyone was going in on the QBs that were there and not looking to the draft. Any quarterback that had talent in free agency was signed.
And a lot of the original pools as well. I feel like many teams kept the quarterback options they had.
I never even got a quarterback as an option, so
Many
I had
teams didn't.
one, but he wasn't the style I wanted to play, so I decided to leave him there and pick up some other talent around him.
Yeah, I think you're the only one that didn't pick up a quarterback they were given.
Give me
Yeah,
a
I'm
battle royale, guys.
interested.
Come on.
All right, so we're just about ready to kick this off here. Once again, the only thing is, I think the Panthers. Let me see here.
I'm pretty sure he's not available today. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably going to end up having to pick BPA. Kirby has given me some Kirby. Yeah, he's giving me some instructions on what he wants. So we're probably going to have the top 3 picks here come off relatively quickly. I think the Panthers are going to. I don't know if they'll auto pick or what, but so Chicago, get ready. We're starting back up. Here we are. Beginning of the 3rd round. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. Okay. So 3 real rapid fire ones right off the bat. All defensive ends. Dustin Blackley to Cincinnati, Justin Peterson to New York Jets, and DeAndre Carla to Carolina. Very interesting.
That hurts. Watching that come up in the auto draft queue, and hoping one of those guys would be there for us in the mid-3rd.
Chicago is on the clock.
Yeah, I would say that Dustin Blackley, he looks to be the best out of the bunch. I think that you could look at these trinity of defensive ends to definitely make some plays as they develop. One thing I do want to ask you guys is, you don't have to like necessarily disclose it if you don't want to, but like, what was your rationale between like when you got the pool that you were dealt? Because I know like us, we got a whole bunch of linemen. We have linemen. We had some front 4 options, but like most of our defensive options were very old. Like I remember us having a free safety. He was a Pro Bowl player, but he was 33. So we opted to just take the best quarterback, one of the best. He was an 82, and some linemen, and then some defensive options. Yeah, because we had the option of, we could have had a very good O line. We had an 85 center, but we ultimately chose to pass him up to get a young 74 defensive tackle. So we're banking on him basically developing and becoming top 5 interior defensive lineman, hopefully.
Pick is in.
Sorry about that. The Chicago Bears select cornerback Mike Turner. Denver Broncos are on the clock.
So going back to the pool discussion, the Eagles kind of looked at their pool and we locked down some. We primarily focused on offense. That's kind of what our pool gave us. We locked down a lot of our skill positions, our quarterback, offensive line, and then defensively we went kind of sparse. And so you can kind of see how that's affecting our draft right now. We've gone 2 defensive picks to start, and we're just trying to be a well-rounded organization. We've kind of got the schemes in mind that we're going to run, and I believe we're stuck in a very difficult NFC East division. So just trying to see how we stack up against all these other very good front offices.
Yeah, and with free agency, I'd say that we wanted to be a lot more active, but just the bonuses that were being given out, we were just like, yeah, like for example, Hector Covarrubias, we really wanted him to help shore up the wide receiver room for Chop, but 95% bonus. That I felt like we had no flexibility with that.
There were some teams really throwing bonuses around. Like Arizona, I think, and Kansas City.
Kansas
those
City,
players
I
are
had
those
a
players are
majority of
untradeable.
their contacts, or I should say, targets fully guaranteed.
Yeah, KC was probably our biggest villain in free agency. I think we stole one guy. They took one guy from us. It was a fun ride. Free agency was really well set up. Thank you, Pierce. Broncos on the clock. Numbers
I wasn't
dropping
able
quick.
to really participate for a couple of weeks just because I was just so packed at work. I just could not find any time to look at it till late in the week.
Broncos getting close.
Might have to auto pick here.
I mean, even with the picks they already have, this draft is looking to trend up. Patrick Viola, Dakota Link, two very good players. So even if you auto pick here, you really can't be too mad at what you got at the beginning of the draft.
Yeah. The Denver Broncos select free safety Jake Campos. The Los Angeles Rams are on the clock. Rams haven't really picked a lot of like quote unquote sexy positions. They've picked Bruce Dawson, but then picked a defensive tackle who wasn't really super high on my board, but he's a solid guy. They pick us in. The Rams select defensive end Carlos Bostic.
That's a great pick.
That's
great
an excellent pick
for the third round.
I have him
That
in
could
the
be a
early
home
second.
run.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Rams are far and away looking to have one of the best drafts out of all the teams so far. You get a Heisman winner, and you get a defensive end that once sacks are buffed, I think he'll be able to wreak havoc on opposing backfield. So Rams are looking nice.
The Seattle Seahawks on the clock. We're starting to see, like, I'm looking at my board and I'm seeing a lot of like fullbacks and blocking tight ends left that are like rated high in terms of their skills and stuff, but not obviously the value's not there. The Seattle Seahawks select center Jason Stites. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Interesting pick. I think honestly the value is probably there. I have him in the late third, early fourth for my ranking, but he has an A plus potential. So like I can see why teams would go after him. So this is an interesting pick on Seattle's part, going after potential there. The Cleveland Browns select defensive tackle Duncan Torrero. The Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. And hopefully this is exactly who the Browns wanted. He's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Not a huge amount of potential. B minus, but he's got Pierce said he liked his size. He wants to play a 3-4, so there's your nose tackle. The Kansas City Chiefs select tight end Louis Van Slyke.
That's a good pick.
That's great value here.
He's the best tight end I've got left here. I don't think we've had a tight end pick before, do we? Yes, we do. The
Tim McKinney.
Steelers got one. Yeah, in the first.
Huge run of defensive linemen to start the third round. Just value hitting at the right time, I guess.
Very interesting.
With Kansas City's selection, I think that they're making good use of the picks that they traded with us. Like you said, one of the better tight ends left in this class. Got a very good offensive guard. And then they got in my mind, the best zone corner, top 5 corner, Trey McMillan. So I think their strategy of just trading down is actually paying off for them.
I think a lot of these guys, this is interesting because they spend a lot in free agency, but a lot of these guys aren't dudes that, like, because of where you're picking, the overalls aren't going to be, blowing anyone away. So I think where they're picking, they're getting a lot of dudes with long-term potential. So that's interesting. I don't know. A lot of these guys are going to step in and play. Like maybe they have a huge hole at tight end and guard, but like otherwise, a lot of these guys are going to pick might not beat out the pool player you got this year. The Detroit Lions select wide receiver Matt Brown. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock.
Yes. I really liked him, man. I really liked him as a pick. I think that's a good pick for them. We really liked Matt Brown. We had a workout with him. He had a very good performance. So Detroit, I think they're getting a good one right here.
He was
I'm
on my
shocked he's
radar.
this far. He was tied with Junior Ogba for 4th/5th on our big board of wide receivers. So surprised he fell this far with all the wide receivers picked earlier.
There's still a lot of wide receiver talent out there.
There is.
So
Interesting.
One team that
quite a
I'm
few
looking
quarterbacks
at.
taken in the first 2 rounds. Do we think we're going to see any rest of the day?
Nah.
I don't think so. There was like 2 packs of quarterbacks towards the top, and after that, I just don't think there's really anybody worth it. Maybe I think there's a couple guys that you can get later on that maybe would be okay, but like, I don't. Yeah, I don't think we see anybody else the rest of the day. Not at that position.
One team I'm looking at that's having a very good draft, well, an underrated one that we really haven't been talking about, is the Titans. We had a first round grade, at least in the community mock, on Tommy Merriman. We had him being the first pick, and they got him in the second. They got Kendall Schaefer, we believe to be a also first round corner. I had him as top 5. So Tennessee Titans, they look like they were being patient, biding their time, sticking to their strategy, and it's looking to be very beneficial for them.
It's that old man magic down there in Tennessee. All right, we have a couple here real quick. The Philadelphia Eagles select offensive guard David Thomas from the the Cardinals. The Cardinals have selected fullback Terry Jackson. They have 2 fullbacks now.
Who runs the Cardinals?
I think it's Rabbit. He
boy.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, okay, we've a couple other quick ones here. The Miami Dolphins select defensive tackle Michael Fumagalli, and the Houston Texans select tight end Will Thomas. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, so if y'all don't mind giving me a moment.
Man, I feel bad, man. I might want to trade for a fullback for Rabbit, man. 2 fullbacks, that's brutal.
Especially in the second and third rounds. I mean, it was like 7th or 8th. It's whatever, right? But this high in the draft, it's kind of rough.
Doesn't Arizona have a bunch of other holes to fill? Yeah. I mean, it kind of confuses me that they're picking up fullbacks when this is a pretty loaded defensive end class.
We can talk about it. If now that we're looking at it, Philip Calhoun was there for them, fills that need perfectly. That's just an egregious oversight on Arizona's part.
Hence, there was only one fullback taken in between them, so
They were auto picked. Rabbit has not done anything about any of this. So the Cowboys select wide receiver Steven Labasire. I have no idea how to say that. Good luck, everybody else.
It's La BCF.
There you go. It's some good French pronunciation there. Excellent. The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock. I mean, I don't know what's up with Rabbit. He was really active in free agency, and then the draft rolled around, and he just didn't do anything. I don't know if he did any scouting. He hasn't pinged anybody about saying he wasn't going to be here. We put out, if you're not going to be here, you need to let us know who you want. Otherwise, it's going to auto pick. Like that was the warning that was put out. So unfortunately, if you're not here and you didn't do anything to, like, even just pinging me saying, hey, look, I want, like, with a quick message on Discord, I want this guy or this kind of player and this kind of player and this kind of player top, like those are my top needs. Figure it out from there is way better than taking two fullbacks back to back in the top 100. So I don't know what else to do other than ping you guys. I can't get a hold of you otherwise. So I was
Baltimore. No, you
sorry.
can
Go ahead.
All right. Baltimore is looking to trade back into the third round. Hit the line of their GM.
Right. When I picked the Mr. French dude here, there was one other. I was torn between him and one other guy who has an awesome name, and I can't wait till he gets picked. He's gonna get picked. I can't wait till he gets picked, and I get to read his name out. It's gonna be pretty good.
is it another person in the same position?
You'll find out. I don't want to give too much away.
Falcons have gone tackle and quarterback, obviously focusing on offense here so far.
All right, there it is. It wasn't this, but this is an excellent name. The Atlanta Falcons select Adonis President, cornerback. The New England Adonis. I have no idea. I know how to say the word president though, which is an awesome last name. And the New England Patriots are on the clock.
El Presidente.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I was looking at him as well. It was between him, another guy I won't disclose because I don't want to speak it into existence, and who we ended up taking. So that's a good pick.
Just all name team material.
Yeah.
Howdy, gents.
Howdy.
Ooh.
Already, we're really speeding along, man. We're already halfway through the third round.
That's crazy.
Which is great. I mean, I think this is great. we're getting this knocked out. Other than the Cardinals, who have obvious issues beyond just they're auto picking basically. Who do we think's have the worst draft so far?
I hate the Raiders draft.
Really?
I think there's accusations of them tanking, but when you get a guy that played 16 snaps his senior year in the first round, my God.
But I mean, I will say though, I did have him rated high in terms of like, it's the ultimate Raiders pick. It's the ultimate Raiders pick because he's a dude that if he shows up is going to be one of the greatest picks of all time. But it's like he could totally just flop.
Yeah, wasn't he on like an AI team that just didn't use him? And here his
Yes.
measurables are like off the chart. Well, not off the
Right.
charts, but they're very high on the charts.
Very, very, very high. Like
And
first round high.
And that makes 4 people on my target board that have gone off now.
And the New England Patriots have selected wide receiver Vincent Allen. The Indianapolis Colts are on the clock.
For all the, we get another one?
Yep, real quick here. The Indianapolis Colts select outside linebacker Richie Gassel. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock.
What a gasshole.
Gassel? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
It's funny to me that you also screwed up the word order. That made the joke better.
Yeah, exactly. It's my neurons are all messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys have covered since I was obviously stuff's been going down on my end, but I will say I'm happy with Ekstrom. I needed some speed, but I almost got insanely lucky. I was looking at Reininger. I had him, in the first round, and he almost the fact that he went in the 50s and almost fell to me, almost made me very, very happy. I think the Eagles got a steal with that one.
They did. They really did. I think Eagles have one of the top drafts so far for sure, which sucks as Cowboys.
Oh wow! Look at these names. Yeah, Soto and Reininger, and Tom. Yeah, that's a good haul. Those are 2 huge difference makers on defense in a division that's going to need it.
I've been looking at the Patriots draft, and it hasn't been spectacular in my mind. They've gotten positions that easily could have fallen later on in the draft.
Agreed. I know it was a head scratcher for us when they went Bruce Puello in the first round. I think Darren Edwards was a good pick where they were taking the second round. Vincent Allen's also a good receiver, but questionable first round picks always kind of tanker grades in my book.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars have selected outside linebacker Phil O'Malley.
Crap.
The Washington Commanders are on the clock, and I have some rumblings they may be moving. They might not be. We don't know for sure just yet.
I took Gasol over O'Malley in large part because of the potential. O'Malley's only like a C or C plus, and Gasol's like a B plus potential. So O'Malley is probably a better year 1 player, but I think year 2, 3, or 4, Gasol's going to show out to be a better player overall.
I definitely see that.
One team I'm not elated to see good players on is Pittsburgh Steelers. McKinney at 21 overall, and then Dustin Woodson-Ludster, who I'm not surprised that he fell out of the first round, but by far the best center in a draft week at it, getting out in the middle of the second. That looks like some good value there.
Agreed.
Not elated to see the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting well.
I wonder who they have on their board here coming up next.
I also love the Steelers' first pick, Devontae McKinney. I think he's by far the best tight end, one of the best pass catchers in the draft.
McKinney as I think he led all tight ends and I think maybe even all receivers in receiving yards or at least catches.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster.
Was it Purdue or where did he play? I forget.
Let me check my board.
He played at Purdue.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had 2,481 receiving yards on 144 catches.
Yeah, he blew people away before this upcoming tweak in numbers. So those might be numbers we never see again.
Very possible. And
The Washington Commanders have decided to pick. They are not trading. They have chosen quarterback Brandon Ramirez. Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock. Well, scratch that. The Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock because the Steelers have selected offensive guard Alec Cousins. And hopefully we're good here. Hopefully Pump can make the pick. We don't have any more issues. Sweet. Got to catch up here on my board.
Yeah. I wonder who's Jacksonville. Oh.
The Los Angeles Chargers select center Kyle Dixon. The New York Giants are on the clock.
Yep. I had him marked on my board. Really good pass blocking drills, high potential. Oh, wow.
Moving fast now. The New York Giants have selected offensive tackle Josh Holloway. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock for Mr. Syndicate's favorite non-Baltimore team.
Oh my gosh.
Coming quickly now. The Titans have selected. Oh wait, hang on. All right, was I supposed to help here? I might have. Or is Bundy here?
I only he's been here the whole time.
Yeah, so I needed to do something there, and I wasn't able to stop it in time. Give me just a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna reverse this one here, but
so elevator music.
Titans. But real quick, sorry, the Titans selected Daniel Lopez. After this, the Vikings will be on the clock.
God, I hope the Vikings get screwed over with this.
I'm wondering how much the picks of O'Malley and Lopez are based on where they want it to be taken, and how much it's based on Gasol being taken. Because again, there's a. I mean, we're getting into the meat of the draft, into the C's, but there's a handful of. I wonder if this is a run based on value or a run based on someone needs that pick position, and now they're starting to go.
Sorry about this. Bundy did the right thing and gave me a bunch of players on his board to pick from. So I'm having to find the best available guy.
Yeah, draft moved along so fast. I was about to complain about the Chargers picking Kyle Dixon. We went back and forth on picking him actually over Brandon Ramirez, but settled on QB of the future.
Agreed. We've been joking on the stream. Very pumped picks. That's another very pumped pick. Interior offensive lineman and Kyle Dixon's one of the best values you could get this late in the third.
Yeah, a very pumped draft.
Yeah, two interior. Oh wait, who's not? Is that which
Chargers.
team is that?
Kansas City looking to trade again.
Rookie contracts are not guaranteed, right?
I think the first round yours are, but I don't think the second three everyone else is. Maybe,
I don't remember.
Because Kansas City's cut down day is going to be real tough.
Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings select Cooper McGough, running back. San Francisco 49ers are on the clock.
Eagles hate that pick. We loved Cooper McGough.
Wow. Well, then why'd you take him earlier? You had 3
Disappointed.
opportunities to take him.
Disappointing.
I mean, that is a good pick. He's good, but I definitely think he was picked in the right spot. I didn't think he was a better than 3rd round pick. So that's frankly that's a good pick in my opinion. Yeah, he was for a while, I think, in the top running back discussion down there in Virginia, but guys like Johnson and Dawson took that over pretty quickly. I think his big thing for me not wanting to pick him above like the 3rd round is he it doesn't have a great combination of overall and progression. I think he could in a year or two be a guy that would be better than a scrub, but I just don't think he was good enough to start, and then also isn't going to get much better. That was the big thing. I think he hit his peak in college, I think, in terms of production. So who knows? Maybe the Vikings know something I don't. Niners are taking a bit for this pick. A lot of people saying that McGough was in the 2nd for them, and I can confirm I know at least one other GM that had him in the 2nd.
So I know you guys feel about McGough, but what about John Peters? How did you guys feel about him?
Loved
'Cause,
him. Loved him.
yeah, I didn't think he'd fall this far. I didn't think running back would fall as far as it did in general, with Moten's picking it off. But
That's interesting. Because even in the outside run drill, Peters has done pretty good. I mean, maybe we speak it into existence here, but Alabama was a very good team that was kind of like sort of had some coaching, sort of didn't. Um, we're in the discussion for the SEC championship. I think they made the championship game, but Kentucky beat them. Yeah, Bama's a weird team, and Peters is one of those players that was really good for them, but it's hard to make heads or tails of what's going on there. This is weird. It's not auto picking for the Niners. Give me just a moment. Let me refresh, and we'll try this again.
I think it all could also be that yes, injury hasn't been implemented, but injury could definitely scare teams away. Running back, it's just a fact. It's the most battered position in the league. It's the most physical position, and it just has a low shelf life. So teams really aren't pleased with what the doctors are telling them. I believe he was a combine warrior. I thought he was a beast at the combine, but injury concerns with his workload could definitely scare teams away.
Yeah, I don't. So, technical point here. I don't know what happened, but it kind of reset the clock. So, unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to wait for another 3 minutes. All the 49ers here. I guess who is the 49ers? Is it Bellwood?
It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna ping him again. But I think it was gonna auto pick for him. So let's see if Syndicate speaks John Peters getting picked soon into existence.
Yeah. Also, I know we're a bit away from next season, just even thinking about it, but I can say one player that even Kirby has been raving about this whole time, or a lot of the time, is Alex Tyron. That dude, I think he has
yeah.
potential to be the best edge rusher in the history of the league, past and present and future. I think he has the measurables, he has the skills, the strength. I think he will end up being the best pass rusher this league has ever seen.
That's that would be big. I mean, I do remember glancing at him and like, wow, this guy looks like he's really good. I mean, we could check out their roster real quick. Let me see, Florida State. Yeah, he's listed as A overall, and he's got B potential. So that's a good combination. But he's like the prototypical pass rush defensive end. Real tall. He's like what 6'6", something like that, 246. Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's right. He was one of the first name, last name guys. A bug that turned into a feature. I mean, with stats like that, you could, yeah. What is going on? Okay.
Might need to pick 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let me just refresh here. I'm gonna pick 4 of them, and then we're gonna keep moving. All right. So, damn it. Sorry. Apologize for this taking so long. Gonna give this back to the right team. So the San Francisco 49ers select Genesis Pelham, wide receiver. That was the other name guy I had. And then the Green Bay Packers select corner Joe Perez. Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. I mean, Genesis is a great name. Two guys I had pretty high left on my board gone too. Has Marquez Allen been taken? I think he has.
Yes, I took him in the first round.
Excellent. I missed him. Is Kansas City going to try to trade back out of this, or
They're trying to.
are they really?
Yeah. He
Really?
messaged at 5:44, hit me up for a round 3 pick 28.
Look at that. I wonder if he's got any hits.
Seems to be Pittsburgh has been fishing.
There he goes. He spoke it into existence. The Kansas City Chiefs have selected running back John Peters. Buffalo Bills are on the clock. And we're getting towards the end of the round here, so it's going to end up being a quick turnaround here with a lot of these guys. So, who was it that said they hated the Raiders draft so far? Was that Sage? Buffalo's looking to trade down, it seems. But what do we think the Raiders are going to go with here? What other crazy kind of pick are they going to pull? Because they took Andrew Richards, a dude who had a total of 16 snaps on offense his senior year, and in the first round, and then David Paul over Matt Howard in the second. What would be the next Raiders thing? A kicker? Something like that? A fullback? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the fastest wide receiver?
Just about to say, who's the fastest player left, regardless of skill?
Yeah. I think that guy might be Neil Kipnis. I don't think he's been taken yet. Or Nephi Kipnis, I'm sorry. Maybe. I mean, let's see what we have left running back.
Robinson ran a 4.340, 4.31.
Yeah. David Nee is available. He ran a 4.36. He's receiving running back. I think, yeah, I think he could be somebody they go after. Interesting. Will the Bills get it done? I need to hear something from both teams before the pick is up in order to do that.
All right, he's out.
All right, the Buffalo Bills selected Andrew Martin, corner, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
Wow. Second highest zone coverage drill grade in the draft, 9.41. So, and one of the few B overall players left. Well, B minus in his case, but not bad if it fits your scheme for the bottom of the third.
Yeah, if you're a zone coverage team, that's pretty good. So it looks like the Bills are going to be a zone coverage team. The only knock against him, I think, is a mediocre potential. That's really it. At least all that I can see.
But man, speed, agility, zone coverage, strength, tackle, run defense, all A's.
Now you got remember we all have to be careful about non like skills that aren't towards their overall. Like
Fair.
yeah, those are just compared to other players in the similar position. Not over. That's not overall. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have selected Adam Ijalana, corner, and then the Las Vegas Raiders have selected David Nee. There we go. I called it. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. That's the very Raiders pick. Very Raiders pick. I don't know that he's going to start initially because he's a B minus, which is like you're talking low pool, like scrub player territory, but he's a rookie, so I'm pretty sure after 1 year of progression, he's going to be fine. So maybe not this year, but next year he could be someone that really starts to pick up some of the load in Las Vegas, and he's got a good progression too at B minus. That's not half bad. It's not great. You think maybe he could start, and maybe that's something that it goes well for his progression. They say, look, we're going to give him the ball a lot. It might not be great this year, but that'll make his progression really good for next year. I think that's technically better than David Nee, but um, I mean that's close enough though that I could easily make that call to say, nah, we'll play the guy that's not quite as good because it'll progress him better. I wonder who New Orleans is going to do here back to back. Also, Adam Ijalana, great name. Who was that? If it ends up being uh, an auto pick, they'll get an offensive tackle, I think. Yeah, but then they might get a fullback, one of the last fullbacks at the top, if they auto pick this, which is looking likely.
Are we shortening up in
They
round
the
4 the timer?
And we can do that right now. Quentin Pineda is wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans still on the clock. I'm doing that now. From now on, all picks will be 2 minutes long. All right. And so if you're going to trade, probably think about trading a couple picks ahead of time. And although I doubt we're going to see many more trades. And then from this point onward, all picks will be 2 minutes long, including tomorrow. All right. So New Orleans is back on the clock. I think what happened here is New Orleans probably put some dudes in their watch list, and it's probably picking off the top of the watch list. Which, if they needed wide receiver, I think Pineda is a decent pick. Yeah,
Pineda for me is one of the best pass catchers in the class. He's a very high floor, low ceiling guy.
interesting.
Yeah, the guy was in the high 8s in the pass catching drill. Just, I mean, very impressive.
Pretty good for
6'2" guy, 193. I mean, he looks to be every bit of like a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, red zone threat type player.
not a bad 40 either. 4-4.
You guys know me. I love those 6'6" possession receivers that run in the 4-4. The unicorn receivers. Rest in peace, Sean Jenkins.
Oh, it looks like the Raiders have auto picked because Tio Lindsay is offensive tackle for the New Orleans Saints, and then the Raiders select Joshua Hathaway, fullback, which is, as far as I'm aware, the last fullback for a little bit here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back on the clock, and we have begun the 4th round, and this is it. Last one. It's only 7 o'clock. That's awesome.
A lot of excitement in the Hathaway house. You can see Anne Hathaway in the back corner. The Princess Diary star is the aunt of Joshua Hathaway. Scratch
Great.
that. Princess Diary star and ex-wife to a convicted felon.
I will say the Joshua Hathaway was the best player remaining on my board by a long shot. In terms of pure, like overall total value, like how good a player is right now, he was the second best fullback. I'm sorry, third best fullback on my board. But it's just a matter of value. I mean, at least if you're going to auto pick a fullback, fourth round is all right time to do it. That's not terrible. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have selected Jimmy Omont, offensive tackle. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Let me see here. Actually, it appears the Buffalo Bills are trading. So let me get the details of that, and I'll get back to y'all. Very upset with Tampa Bay. I was gonna pick that guy, so screw you guys.
A big all man from the commissioner at the drafting of Jimmy Almont.
That's a pen throw right there. Very upset. I mean, you know what? The main reason I looked at him, he's a very high potential kind of guy. So if you want someone that you can sit a couple years and then throw in there, he's your guy. So that's a good pick in my opinion. Obviously, I was going to take him. So
Going to the panel, I think it's very interesting what people are going to do in these later rounds. I think some teams have the philosophy of getting a guy that can contribute maybe for 3 years, like a high floor, low ceiling type guy. Some teams are going to take lottery picks. Anyone want to discuss which strategy they prefer? I would say on the Eagles end, maybe a little bit shocking, but we definitely prefer the higher floor guys in these later rounds. I mean, that's traditionally what's the approach that works well for me and Ace, getting guys that can fill gaps, maybe for the rookie contract, and just hoping they blossom. We've had luck in the past doing that. I think potential is a little bit overrated here at the back end. You can always see guys that look all world, but they just don't put it together. Maybe they never put it together. We would rather have a guy that could come in, step up day one, could be, the third guy in the rotation. Someone gets hurt, gets put in, shows the world what he's got. Just got quick insight on the trade. It's between the Bills and the Colts. It's a fourth round swap with the Bills getting the Colts fifth rounder, Colts getting the Bills sixth rounder. Looks to me like the AFC South is going to be a tough fight. I've been really impressed with the Titans draft. I think Jacksonville is one of the best teams in the league. Colts have been making a lot of moves. Very impressed with them as well. They might not be a year one team, but down the road could be a very big threat. I think the Texans are in a world of hurt, but very interesting division.
all right. As long as I think I handled all of that properly. So that is the case. The Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock. You guys go over the picks in the trade. The Indianapolis Colts have selected strong safety Tanzel Harvey. The Baltimore Ravens are on the clock.
Just looking to get some more help in my secondary. Combination of overall potential, grade scores. So I kind of liked him here in the fourth. So that was a really good pick for me.
The Zelda to Link that was drafted by Broncos. I mean, Colts, how could you do this? It's gonna be a weird concept though when you play the Broncos in the horsey match when Link throws a pick to Tanzel. Man, the headlines write themselves.
All right. Looks like we've got another trade brewing. So let me go ahead and pause this here to handle it.
Get ready, guys. The broadcast is about the Eagles chat. We have head coach Ace Wolf joining the broadcast.
What up, guys?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Comunicado oficial. Very happy with what the Eagles have been able to pull today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just speaking of our first few rounds, we were eyeballing Soto for a long time, and just ecstatic that he came to our pick.
Not to break up this absolutely wonderful Philadelphia Eagles discussion, but the details of the trade are Baltimore gets the Los Angeles Chargers 2023 third round, and Los Angeles gets this current pick. The Los Angeles Chargers are now on the clock.
Pump is absolutely eyeing someone big.
Yeah, this is a big move.
I would not be surprised if we actually don't see a Pump pick here. I know. So the running joke, guys.
Here we go. It's the Los Angeles Chargers have selected Austin Iglesias, offensive tackle. The Green Bay Packers then select Will Castillo, offensive guard.
Well, scratch all of that. Another very Pump pick, offensive lineman, trenches all the way.
Again, this looks like a dude that probably won't be able to start day one, but like in the next 2 to 3 years, the Chargers will probably have the best offensive line in the league. I mean, he's picked a lot of like really high potential guys. Unless I'm reading this wrong. Iglesias is in A potential. Who else have the Chargers picked? The 49ers are on the clock, by the way. Let me see here. Chargers have picked Nathan Burke and then Diego Johnson, who has A minus potential, and then Kyle Dixon, A minus potential. Yeah, like this offensive line is going to be. They're dudes that probably won't be great year one, but they're gonna like in a few years they're gonna be really good. I really think.
I absolutely love this, and you kind of have to take the division in mind. The Raiders feel like they're tanking. Chiefs went all in on free agents. I think the Chargers will set themselves up for like a kind of spike in the next 3-4 years. Pumped is really setting the foundation here, and I think we'll see some splash picks and selections in the coming drafts.
I think
Iglesias also is the tied for the third highest pass block drill grade. So it seems like that he's going for, and I can double check with other picks, but it seems like you're going for guys at this point. The strategy for some teams has been like try and find guys that can fill one niche role and say, do your thing. So if he's for sure going to be a future left tackle or whatever it is, like let him be a future left tackle.
So let me see here. For some reason, San Francisco's like screwing everything up again. So I'm going to force the auto draft here. Let me see. I don't know why it's with him, but another wide receiver just so happened to be auto picked. The San Francisco 49ers select Nefi Kipnis, wide receiver. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock.
Diego Johnson was the guard that they picked. He was a B overall, A- potential. Had a 7.2 run block and a 6.6 pass block.
Oh my God, Toucan, the pick. I love Rasul Miller.
Yeah, Seattle Seahawks select Rasul Miller, corner. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock. By the way, we do have another trade, but it looks like it's not going to affect today. But Washington is sending Buffalo their 5th, 7th, and 8th round pick, and Buffalo is giving Washington their 2023 4th round. It looks like the rest. I think that's the rest of the Commanders draft.
Well, how the Commanders just? Do you think it's salary cap implications? They couldn't
We
pick.
still have a 4th to pick. Yeah.
No, they still have one more 4th.
Nothing tomorrow, though.
They said that they were all traded out to me or drafted out.
The Tennessee Titans select strong safety Greg Brown. Let me catch up on some dudes here. Greg Brown.
So, going back to the Seahawks pick, I absolutely love Rasul Miller. Would have taken him with our pick in the 4th. This guy is a lethal defensive back. I believe he had 7 interceptions for Wyoming last year. He's just everywhere.
He's like the kind of guy that looks like he's a boom or bust. He had decent numbers for coverage stuff. A little bit better, it looked like, in the zone coverage as opposed to man coverage. But not the same difference that you see in a man coverage or zone coverage kind of guy. His big thing is he's a ball hawk, and he's got great potential. He's probably someone, again, a lot of these guys right now are probably not going to be dudes that start early. They might play special teams a lot. But they all have the ability to year 2, year 3 work themselves into a starting role that can really take over.
Absolutely. We had a good interview with Miller at the Eagles organization as well. He's a ready-made guy, a gunner on special teams, a potential nickel or dime back with room to grow, punt returner, kick returner. He's just a guy, you get the ball in his hands, he does special things for you.
The New York Giants select Adrian Rivera, wide receiver. Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock.
Speaking of familial relationships, Adrian Rivera is the first cousin of Los Angeles Lakers star Raymond Rivera.
Adrian Rivera's, I'm kind of upset by that because he was a dude I really had my eye on invited him to my facility and everything, and sad to see him gone. Really sad. The Los Angeles Chargers select defensive end Gabriel Campbell. And then let's see here, Pittsburgh Steelers select Simon Rhea, inside linebacker. The Washington Commanders are on the clock.
I may also just be looking at a not as updated stats doc, but am I correct in seeing that Rivera did not record any stats last year?
That's entirely possible. We had a lot of AI teams that just didn't play dudes.
Okay.
Like, the Raiders picked Andrew Richards, who had 16 snaps.
Yeah. Like I remember hearing that, but I was just
The
wondering.
Washington Commanders select center Quintarius Parsons.
That
The
was
Jacksonville
my
Jaguars are on the. I'm sorry?
That was going to be who I was going to take in 2 picks.
Okay. I thought I messed up a trade.
Yeah, Quintarius was the best player available for quite some time. Great pick by the Commanders. They wrap up their draft. I think the Commanders are probably the odds-on favorite to win this inaugural Super Bowl. Going back to the Steelers pick, the Jewish community is ecstatic. Simeon Ray is really bloodlines. Just rare to see one of them make it to the National Football League, and I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in synagogues all across the nation.
Yeah, take the yards over the returns. Can someone remind me? The Los Angeles Rams they have sent me some instructions for their last pick today. So if somebody could try to stop me before their pick is up, I'd appreciate that. The Jacksonville Jaguars select offensive tackle D'Angelo Cook. Coming in fast here, the Colts have selected center Willis Bruce. The New England Patriots are on the clock.
Willis Bruce was in the claimed movie series. What's it called? Everybody watches it at Thanksgiving.
Die Hard?
No, Hard Die.
Hard
Yes.
Die.
I saw that name in the sheet and I went, that's one of those all name teams.
New England Patriots select inside linebacker Ariel Calderon. The Falcons on the clock. By the way, Calderon, Ariel Calderon is not the only player with the last name Calderon in this draft. There is also Cenarize Calderon, a wide receiver out of Louisiana Tech. And Ariel Calderon decided to take his talents to North Carolina, and now he's going to play for the New England Patriots.
Funny enough, we got reporters over at the synagogue that Simeon Ray was at for his draft watch party. They are absolutely losing it at this place. Very excited for this young man. Congrats to the Steelers.
Another inside linebacker going off the board. The Atlanta Falcons select Demarius Kendricks, and the Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock. So if you all will excuse me.
No. He is not to be excused.
Hang on, I'm sorry. Didn't stop it in time. I'm sorry, that's the Texans, but the Dolphins, I believe, have given me some instructions here, so I need to pick for them. But the Dallas Cowboys select offensive tackle John Pinto. The Houston Texans select cornerback Patrick Hicutini. Interesting name. And then the Dolphins are on the clock, and I need to fiddle with some things in order to get this to work. So bear with me.
John Pinto signed an NIL deal with Goya and was just advertising the frijoles pintos for the Southwest community. So excited for him. Can't wait to see what he does in Dallas. And I think this is a big win for Goya Corporation.
He was also recently diagnosed with a giant ulcer in his stomach, so it would be very bad if somebody were to hit him from behind, because that could easily lead to a large rupture. This, of course, being a massive joke about the Ford Pinto.
Again, for all the listeners, round 4 will conclude day 1. We will be drafting rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8 tomorrow. All pick timers will be at 2 minutes. With this pick right now is the Miami Dolphins, on deck Arizona Cardinals, then the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Should be good to go here. So let's make this pick, and then we'll move on. The Miami Dolphins select defensive end Philip Christian. And as soon as I get this going again, the Arizona Cardinals will be on the clock, which will probably auto pick. Good news for them is it will not be a fullback, but probably will be another position they've already picked. And they selected offensive guard DJ Bayless. So they got a great guard in Angel Lowe. Not as good of a guard in DJ Bayless, but yeah, we'll see. See how that turns out for him. It is honestly, if they have a spot for guard, that's not too bad. Oh, by the way, the Eagles are on the clock.
I feel
followed by the
like
Lions.
after this draft, Arizona is just going to have a lot of people on the trade block.
At least one fullback,
Yeah.
if not two. Do they have a fullback already?
I'd have to look at that.
I think Bayless isn't terrible, but his progression's not good. And frankly, his run blocking grade
They
was
do
not
not
good at
have a
all.
fullback,
Well, there you go. Well, now they have two.
but they already
Maybe-
had an offensive guard on their roster.
Yeah. Maybe they'll move one of them to tackle. I mean, I will say this. For the Cowboys, we have two tackles. Pinto, the plan for him is probably going to be a guard of the future kind of guy. So we'll probably move him to the inside, let him smash some bodies in there. The Philadelphia Eagles run low here on time. For having so many guys, it's taking forever to pick. The Eagles have selected defensive end Jake Moore. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. And the Lions have selected offensive guard Abel Hughes. Great name. And the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. Got the Eagles guys back. Is that what that was?
Yeah, I apologize. We had to go back to our brain trust.
That's fine. Yeah. So what was your thinking there in that pick? What's your plan here?
Just absolutely stunned that Jake Moore was even available at this spot. This is a guy that has sky high potential, and he's got probably the best floor of all the defensive ends remaining. Did great in his drills. Solid tackle for loss guy. I believe he had 19. Just absolutely stunned he was still at this position.
Do you think maybe he's a guy you could potentially move inside to tackle? I don't know what kind of defense you guys are planning to run. The Baltimore Ravens have selected center Alan Sterling. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Just because I don't know, like he's a run stopping guy, so like he'd be really good probably to help the run on the interior while he develops his pass rush stuff. You know.
So
But,
our thought process on it is looking at some of his drills and things like that. He was actually the top run stop graded defensive end in this class. Not even just ones that are available, just overall, he was the best one. Now, does that say anything about this class? Probably a little bit, because this defensive end class was not quite run stop heavy. It was more on the balance or speed guys. But Jake Moore having that, and at least from my look at stats wise, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he had 19 tackles for loss. Yes, 19 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. At the end of the day, we can pair. We can allow both Hightower and Soto to rush the passer while Moore plays a more secondary role as a defensive end.
The Cleveland Browns have selected Quante Casilla, inside linebacker. Seattle Seahawks on the clock.
Love that pick for the Browns. Casilla was high up on our board as well. Just a really good Mike linebacker he projects as. So the Browns may have had a shaky start. I still think they got a very good corner in the first round. I'm impressed with the Browns draft so far.
Wow, so even making a mistake, they did all right. This is the one I need to stop and do myself here. The Seattle Seahawks select corner Mike Hargraves, which probably was the best. I think he might have been the best man coverage corner left. I believe so. All right. Yeah, I think once the Bears pick, I have to get ready to stop it. Let me see here.
As we get to the near end of round 4, I guess other notable picks that I really liked. I think that Alan Sterling pick was solid by the Ravens. I've already said I really like the Juante Casilla pick. I'm just impressed with how every team has done so far. I know we always try to pick winners and losers, but I think everyone's done a very respectable job this draft, and props to the broadcast team as well.
For sure. And add on to Alan Sterling, he felt like he was just a high floor player, not the greatest potential, but we got to protect our investment. James Taylor, protect his health. So we felt like what better to do but get a bulldozer in front of him. Decent run blocking, good pass blocking, not bad injury, and most of all, we were looking at the agility and the strength. We feel is very important for that position. You're going up against nose tackles, defensive tackles. We want you to be able to climb the second level with A speed. So we're really satisfied with that pick.
Between that and the reaction time too, I mean, as a center, you're getting pressured up right away. You got to make the snap, then get up, then push down the field. I think Alan Sterling this late in the 4th is a really good pick.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, just curious for the rest of the broadcast, what's everyone's favorite, fourth round pick so far? I can go first. Seattle Seahawks, Rasul Miller, just high potential, really good player. We loved his interview. Very impressed by that pick.
I have the pick is in. Los Angeles Rams select Jordan Stanley, offensive guard. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Then we'll have the Chicago Bears, and then we're gonna close it out with 3 auto picks, and then that'll be end of it.
Yeah.
So kicking it back off here.
For our front office, we really like that Colts trade came out of nowhere. Harvey, he had a very good workout with us. We felt like he was a Swiss Army knife to add to Perez. So we didn't even expect the team. We expected him to at least maybe become 5th, trade back up, or maybe 6th, but damn, we were expecting the top.
Buffalo Bills have selected Kyle Banjo, outside linebacker. The Bears are on the clock.
I love this pick.
And then
Love it.
all right. The Bears select defensive end Trey Taumeo-Penu. Totally butchered that. Defensive end. The Carolina Panthers selected offensive guard Damon Polanco. The Jets selected offensive guard Spencer Bates. And the Cincinnati Bengals close it out by picking a kicker, Jameel Lopez. Yeah.
I'm pulling up stats on Banjo real quick just out of curiosity. But Banjo, like the reason why I love Banjo on it is it's not due to his name. Give me
He's
one
got
second.
a great pass rush grade, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah, his stats aren't great. He has 6 tackles for loss, 9 tackles in 12 games. Only played in 207 snaps from the stat sheet I have. So that's decent conversion.
He seems like a guy that could be good, but like he doesn't have very high potential.
Yeah, like I could like he to me is the stereotypical like he's a pass rush specialist. That's about all he does. Like, but if he could be that for a rookie contract and be in a class that doesn't have a lot of high end pass rush talent from the linebacker position. Getting a guy who has a 9.25 at that, which for most of these pass rush drills and everything like that, you didn't see very many 9s, honestly. Like Mark Soto had an 8.9. So like as much as I like Soto, like Banjo being there and potentially being a like you spend a 4th round pick on a guy, stick him only at pass rusher. He could potentially turn into something pretty good for his rookie contract.
So that's it for today. Got 4 rounds in. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to start back up. We're going to do the last 4 rounds. It's probably going to be a lot quicker. We've got each pick is going to be 2 minutes again, so that puts us at about 64 minutes a round with 4 rounds. That's going to be a little over like about an hour and a quarter, or 4 hours and 15 minutes or so.
What time?
4 p.m. Now that should be the longest. If people are picking quickly, it's gonna go a lot quicker than that. We didn't even go 4 hours today, so pretty good. You guys have any questions, any concerns? I will put out if you've made trades today, you're gonna have to also post in the trade. Like if you make trades at all this weekend, we will have to make trades in the trade block thing, because that way we can keep track of who traded what long term for next year and the year after and everything, because I know we had a lot of future picks moving around as well. So please be sure to do that. And any questions, any concerns, anything, let me check the SimNFL channel here. I haven't peeked in here in a long time. All right, thank you all for sticking around. It's
All right.
on you here, Sub, to close us out and shut off the stream.
All right.